Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to my third video. Today I'll be sculpting a sad-faced jack-o'-lantern. This will be part 3 of a 4-part series. We'll sculpt 3 little polymer clay pumpkins and finish out October by painting them. And I figured we could chat about seasonal topics while I sculpt. As with our happy pumpkin, we skipped right from making our foil base to adding the fleshy bits of the pumpkin on. Since this one is sad, I made the overall body nice and tall to emphasize the stretch in the expression. We keep it slow and add little by little, warming the clay up first so as to keep that nice base so we can mush, mash, stretch with ease as we go on. I started to really hit a groove by this one, so things went even quicker than with our happy lad, if you can believe it. You know I would have to start with our periodontal scalers. I could lie and say I was more confident, and this one was the easiest of all, but that definitely was not the case. Pulling chunks of clay out through this guy's droopy mouth was a major pain in the patookie. No joke. I think I even commented during the recording process on how I was struggling to remember how I even got this far. Well, I do believe I promised some sad content. Just for you guys, I'm going to let my unpopular opinion be known, and to do so, I had to go back and suffer through an hour and 47 minutes of torture. Okay, it may not have been that bad. I mean, I didn't enjoy it at all, really, and I wouldn't have rewatched it if not for making this video. But here we are. So, skin me alive, but I absolutely cannot stand Hocus Pocus 2. I never hopped on that hype train. I love the original Hocus Pocus, and it's not for the same reasons that everybody else always complains about on the internet. And believe me, I brushed up on it. I watched several reviews, some saying it was amazing, some saying it was okay, some saying it was god-awful, but none of them touched on the things that I actually don't like the movie for. So when it was announced, day one, I was skeptic, and I hoped to be pleasantly surprised. Even before I watched it, I told people I can forgive story flaws, holes, gaps. I don't care if the special effects are amazing. I don't care if there's a ridiculous amount of fan service or pandering to the masses. Really, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. But they needed to at least respect the lore of the source material. If you don't know what I mean by that, I'll say this. My big concern was regarding the modern trends of turning all evil as redeemable and softening darker themes or elements to storylines. And I gotta say, they butchered the source on this one. Truly. But why don't I go a bit more in depth so you can understand why I say that? We'll leave the incongruity of the set dressings of early Salem between the first and the second movie. I don't have hours to dig into the history of Salem and hunt more for pictures of Salem, presumably from 1630 or earlier, and that's if we're assuming in the first movie Emily was their very first victim that they sucked the life out of. But the most important thing that I want to take out of this early Salem revisit is, how did they become legends in Salem if they were banished from the colony? How did they lure children away if everybody already suspected them of being evil and wicked? Like, it doesn't, you've already pulled like the biggest plot hole ever. And like I said, I didn't care if there were plot holes, but you're going back and creating ones where there didn't need to be ones. Anyway, we'll leave that one. Next, I want to touch on the other part that I mentioned where we soften evil. These witches were vile creatures. They were playing with dead men's toes and devouring the life force out of children. Winifred, who is always selfish and having to pretend that she cared about her sisters, oh yeah, you guys too, and that she actually intended to share with them the spoils of her labors. And she and Mary even threw Sarah into a presumable bottomless black river with zero hesitation in the original. We are now forced to believe that Winnie wishes to die and give up all her power just to potentially be reunited with them. An unlikely occurrence, especially considering these women would have been sent to hell, having sold their souls to the devil for their powers. And I don't know about you, but I was under the impression that hell gives you quite the opposite of your heart's true desire. Furthermore, this evil book does not want to create all-powerful witches. This book is fine with sacrificing innocent lives and stealing lives from children, but sacrificing something a witch loves, that happens, just happens to be members of a coven in this movie, that's taboo. That's where the book won't cross a line even though it has the spell in it. I don't know, guys. That's stretching it for me. And furthermore, if we're talking about the book, let's talk about the fact that the book was supposed to have been given to Winifred by the devil himself, and it was supposedly bound in human skin. This book that contained Winifred's most powerful and evil spells is somehow going to be a good book for this new trio to play with. The book that even Binks said no good can come from it. But that's right, now it's being given to her not by the devil himself. That's no longer canon. Apparently, the mommy witch gave it to them, not the devil. Not sure where or when or how their sisters became entangled with the devil, though we know they sold their souls at some point. Also not sure where remorse is coming from without a soul. Any thoughts, guys? Because I'm kind of blanking there. Moreover, this pokes a massive hole in a whole component to a scene from the original. It makes sense for them to believe this man who's dressed up as the devil is him and go to him and seek his aid when their book is gone if he gifted it to them. But if he didn't even give them the book, then that scene loses all significance and becomes incredibly not relevant to the story. Do you see where I'm going? Then I have to touch on the singing. Look, again, I can forgive fan service, but in the original, the singing was purposeful. It's part of the lore. It wasn't just a gimmick. They didn't sing purely to sing. They didn't sing to entertain. They sang to enchant, to curse, and to spell. And in the second one, if they sang right from the get-go, the main characters would have been toast. Done with, over. They should have been enchanted from the start. They were literally entranced, saying, I can't stop watching. This time, the witches knew these young girls were there and they're just gonna sing to them for fun, not enchant them and nip the potential problem in the bud, which you would have thought they'd be more inclined to do after having been tricked numerous times by teenagers the last time they were resurrected, and having even called it out in the second movie. But, okay, so there's our fan service, and we'll scrap that bit of lore too, because the witches just sing for fun now, and it's not actually a part of their spell casting, although they somehow incorporate it, or for some reason incorporate it. One other big thing that I think is a glaring flaw is that we seem to have forgotten that the Sanderson house was secluded, out into the woods, tucked behind a wall that was supposedly built from children's bones, with a big gate on it, and Salem, who loves their historic areas, just let people develop around it. They just ripped that crap down and tore up the walls and the gate and literally built homes and businesses directly beside it. Guys, I don't buy it for a second. Unless you're telling me that that's just a recreation and the only reason that the Sanderson sisters ended up at the magic shop was because Gilbert opened the book to show them the way, which I guess is fine, but the Sanderson sisters then literally called it their home, even though they pointed out all the differences. Like, they should have known. I just think that's another big stab at the lore, and I don't think it was necessary to relocate the Sandersons' houses. I really don't. I think it could have been just as effective, tucked away out in the woods. You could have put up banners or signs. You could have modernized places around it but kept the walls. I really don't think changing that was so important. But further on, the magic shop and our simp Gilbert, how did he make a black flame candle? Where did he find the fat of a hanged man? Seriously, like, where did you find the fat of a hanged man? Where are you finding hangings? And you seriously want me to believe that you went and dug up the corpse and siphoned off the fat and built a candle? Like, no, I don't believe that for a second. Unless now you're telling me that he must be a whiz at navigating the dark web, which again, I don't believe either, because he's a bumbling idiot and incredibly squeamish, and he lives in Salem, grew up in Salem, claims to be obsessed with the Sanderson witches, and has read their evil book, but somehow misunderstood the fact that they are evil, sold their soul, and murder people without a thought. I mean, it's all right there in front of your face. You expect me to believe that this man somehow found the proper ingredients to make a true black flame candle that could bring the witches back from the dead? Guys, you're asking a lot of me. This Lord's asking a lot. You could have at least even said that he repurposed the black flame candle. You know what I mean? Like, took the wax from the old and fashioned it into a new, maybe smaller candle. But nah, you're saying this guy built a whole new black flame candle that actually worked? I don't buy it. Dude couldn't even find a petrified spider. And I don't, seriously, you really expect me to believe a stuffed toy spider will suffice to fuel an all-powerful spell, Magicae Maxima? I'm over this movie, guys. Literally, the one thing I wanted out of it, I did not get, and it makes me so sad. Why did I do this to myself? Well, guys, I hope you liked hearing me get irate and ramble about how much I dislike Hocus Pocus 2. I hope you don't judge me for it, but seriously, guys, I don't ask for a lot, but that's really all I needed. Just respect the source lore. It's not difficult to do. You could have still made a great movie and just excluded superfluous content and not changed things, been a little true, made the sisters actually evil. Winnie didn't need a redemption arc. She didn't. Sometimes it's satisfying to have a villain that's truly evil go down, because you know what? There are some truly evil people in this world. Okay? Anyway, I'll get off my podium. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting and my rambling about Hocus Pocus 2. I hope you enjoyed my sculpting of this very sad little pumpkin. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we paint all 3 pumpkins. And I hope to have that out on Halloween. So see you there, stay spooky. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.